Hello YouTube, this is Roger with Airigami Tips and Tricks coming back at you, and I want to continue the build of my Shorts 360. And if you remember the last video, I was talking about the 5-bladed props. I have put the straight pin through the prop. I made a tiny little disc, white disc. If you remember a previous video, I put that on after I put the prop on, and the reason I did that, I applied the dab of glue to that white disc and to the shaft of the straight pin, and it seems to be holding it in place fine. And the reason I did that, I did not want to glue the prop because I wanted it to do this. I wanted to be able just to know it will turn, and they will turn. As you can see, they're not locked up. So the next step in this process, if I can get it done, I haven't tried this, you guys will witness this. I got some cutters. I'm going to cut these a lot shorter because they don't need to be that long, and I'm going to guess at my length about right there, and that cut real easy, so I'm pleased with that. So now I've trashed one straight pin, I'm sorry, and I'm about to trash another one, and that cut real easy. So if you see what I'm doing here and the effect I'm going for, I'm going to show you how that I put these onto. We'll put the scraps down in there so I don't drop them on the floor and accidentally step on them. But anyway, let me show you if I can get my plan completed here. Here's one of my turboprop motors. It's already folded and glued, and as I said, I use a filler inside these so they're not hollow when I try to put them together. I put a little bit of balsa, and that's what I didn't end up using the drill bit, as I showed you in video number 2. I backed off using the drill bit because I just figured, why not just shove the straight pin into the balsa before I make the props, and that should work just fine. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try to find the holes, and this is going to be hard to do. This is really tiny, so bear with me. I'm going to see if I can put this on here. Well, this is going to be a difficult process. I may have to just log off of the video while I do this, but we're going to try. And the reason it's going to be difficult is because when I cut those, they don't have a point anymore, so I probably am going to have to use that drill bit to make these holes a little bit bigger. So I will have to kind of search for what I did with those bits. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'll be back with you when I can locate those little drill bits. Okay, I found my drill bits. Now I am going to use the small, well, not the smallest one, but not a very big one either. Well, let's see here. Maybe I will use the littlest drill bit in this pack. That should be okay. But I'm going to use this drill bit in this hand drill. So I'm going to take this drill bit. What I'm going to do is put a hole in here to put that propeller on. It's on that straight pin. I'll shove that straight pin in the hole that I make. And that just might do it right there. So let me see if I can accomplish this task. It would mean a lot to me on this particular model if I can get this done. There it goes. I may not even have to glue it. We'll see. A little bit crooked, but I can fix that. Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to fool. I'm not even going to fool with gluing it. I'm just going to leave it there. I can always glue it later if I feel the need to. So let me get this one done too. But I think this will really add a nice effect, or a better look than those white circular discs that you get with the template. I really do believe that this will look a lot better. I know it's just a card model. Maybe I'm overdoing it. You guys leave some feedback on that if you think it's a bit much for these. Let me know what you think. So anyway, yeah, there's my there's one of them completed on the front of the turboprop. So it's got a 5-blade propeller, just like the real short street 60s and short street 30s have. So anyway, got that done. Now another tip that I use, that I mentioned, and of course you're not limited to this by any means. I use modeling clay. I've got a chunk already took off. I make sure it will fit in the body of the plane. Now of course you want to be careful on this plane, on the shorts at the top. Let's see here. Let me show you this way. At the top here I have a split for the wing, and I've replaced on my model, on my template, on the original model, that wing sets down a little bit. If you want a realistic look, the wing of the shorts 360 and 330s is coming right on top of the fuselage, so you don't really want to start it down the fuselage. It just doesn't give a real effect. And that's, here's the original one. See, you're down about, well, I don't know, not quite 1/8 of an inch below the top of the fuselage. You want to be up even with that, and the wheel struts go right through the bottom. So what I'm trying to say here, you do not want to block those passages with your modeling clay if that's what you choose to use to weight the nose of your plane down. So anyway, I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, because what will happen to me if I don't get this in there now, I'll forget, and I'll glue it shut, and then most likely the plane is not going to set on its nose gear. So anyway, it fits in there nicely. I'm going to take my tweezers and smoosh it down a little bit so it will stay in place, I hope. Well, anyway, that should be enough weight to hold that down. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and make sure that I've got I'm going to make sure I can pass through here for the wings and stuff, and just make sure I get my opening clear. And if there's any modeling clay in the way, I'll open up that gap again. So this will help me make sure that I can pass my wheel strut and my wing through there, and that the modeling clay is not in my way. So you can see I can get clear through there with the knife blade. So that is opened up. So that's the modeling clay idea that I have to weight down the nose. Now I haven't completed it yet. I started gluing my rudder to the plane because I'm getting ready to close up the tail, and that's something I think everybody's familiar with, so I didn't bother filming that process. Now the next step will be to close the body up of the fuselage. I'll finish gluing the rudder in place. I'll do that off camera. Everybody, I'm sure, can handle that process. I just want to give you the ideas that I have for making the model look kind of cool. And so far, I guess really, other than changing the design of the original template when I made my own to make the engines look a little bit more realistic, and using the 5-blade propellers, making the new wheel housings. I mean, it's kind of, it does have its changes. So I'm going to sign off for now. Once I get the body glued back together, I'll be back with you for another video, and we'll put the wings and the horizontal stabilizer and the wheel struts through the fuselage, and I'll show you how I glue those in place, and we'll continue from there. So thanks for watching. I'll be back.